where you belong. Give it strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise,
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review. Thank you for joining us for the season so far. We've got something slightly interesting up our sleeves tonight, not yet being done, possibly on some of the channels, but not recently. I've not seen it for a while. You're joined by myself, Stato, Alex. However, we're gonna. I don't like referring to myself that way. Billy Bob as well is here with me. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Some calls that we need to do. Make sure you've subscribed if this is the first time you've been here, or if you've not yet subscribed. Make sure, even if you are part of the furniture, that you have clicked the like button. It really, really does help people find the channel if they've never seen it. It helps with the search results, so please do that. Much appreciated. Thank you again, well, as always, to Mamaru Records, our channel sponsor. There is a link for them down in the description box, so please check out the website. There was also the shop in Whitley Bay as well, so if you're ever there, please have a look at Mamaru Records. It'd be much appreciated. They do a lot to support us. You can also make donations as well if you would like to. There is a super chat $ icon underneath Billy somewhere. I think you could do super stickers, super chats. You don't have to. Viewing is fantastic, but if you would like to support the channel, it is much appreciated as well. And I think that's about everything we need to do. So good evening, Billy. How are we doing?
Memberships, mate. You only miss memberships.
Oh, memberships as well. Oh, thank you, Billy. That is why Paul is the boss man. Memberships as well. You can become a member of the channel as well as doing the super chats and super stickers. So that means that you get entered into nice prize draws that we do every so often for members only. So you get more chances to win some fun stuff. And it again helps to contribute and support the channel. So it's very much appreciated. Now I think that's everything. So
It is.
Evening, Billy. How are we doing, my friend?
Good evening to you, Stato. Good evening to all the Magpie massive out there in Viewerland. I'm fantastic. Really good.
So news, Billy. I don't think I've spoken to you about Wembley yet. Have you been seeing the news about sort of prices and allocations and things like that?
Yeah, a little bit. We spoke on Monday, didn't we? A little bit about it. But yeah, doesn't sound great the way they're doing it, I've got to say. But we shall see how it works out. But it doesn't look good on paper, I must be honest.
I think Tom's already got one, so already got his ticket sorted. So
Tom.
very, very jealous. But Tom is ever present. He goes to all the games. He's fantastic. So, and we've got a few mods as well that should be in line to get one, and it's thoroughly deserved. Right, so we will jump straight in. We will have a look at a few comments, but most people are just saying hello, which is very kind of them. Let's see if there's anything specific that we can go through. Not overly yet. It is just lots of hellos and stuff. We do have Chris from Evermore who said, "Hi lads, big love to Paul and wishing him a speedy recovery." Yeah, I literally just texted him before we started, so he's still recovering, but he's okay. We're still in communication with him, so it is one of those things that you've got to take some time to recover from properly, and he's doing just that. So yeah. New Jersey Geordie, first rating of the season so far, TTR 12/10. 12 out of 10. Is that? Oh, that's for us. I thought that was a date for a minute. I got a bit confused. Paul, Alex, Billy, and Sam have all been incredible this year. You deserve every flower you get. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. We've got a few questions about Paul. I've just addressed that. So Paul is okay. He's getting there.
I'm going to say Bath North East. You haven't been banned talking to chat because I've seen your chats 3 or 4 times. I don't know what you're saying you've been banned for, but we're seeing them. So
Yeah,
clearly
you're
have
still
done
here.
that.
We can see you. There's no bother. There's nothing that we've not timed you out, so there's no issues at all. Yeah. So season so far, there's a couple of points to go through. I think we're going to break this down into how we feel the club has done so far this season, with some challenges and some positive moments. The manager, maybe the fixtures, the cup runs, and then we are going to specifically go into something about the players. We're going to rate all of the players' season so far, which is something we've not done to this level, which is going to be quite interesting. We have got some more stuff lined up, not this week because we're quite busy. We've obviously got the preview for Man City coming up, but we will be doing some transfer stuff shortly. Obviously, Craig Hope did link us with Cordero, the young lad from Malaga, which I'm very excited about because I think it's the first time ever I've got to do a transfer show on somebody from Malaga, which is very, very fun. So I'll be starting my research on that. So, Billy, in terms of rating the season so far, I know we're a little bit over halfway anyway, but if we'll go with old school A, B, C, D, E, F. We'll do old school ratings as if it's a classroom. A being we're absolutely on track to maybe go above and beyond and exceed all of our goals, and I think F being the manager's been sacked and we're absolutely a dumpster fire. Where are you leaning towards in terms of a rating, and what are your reasons?
Well, I don't think we started the season very well. We did get a few results that we probably didn't deserve, and then we had a bit of a rough spell. But when pushes come to shove, Eddie Howe's gone back to basics and got things right. 9-game unbeaten run, winning every game virtually. But it was winning every game, wasn't it? So yeah, I'm going to give it a very healthy B+ for me.
A B+. Yeah. I mean, judging by where we are, I mean, we can obviously rate it at this point we're at today, which is we're being competitive for a Champions League place. We're in a cup final and we're still in the FA Cup. So technically, we're bang on. I mean, the expectations of this season would not have been a title challenge, right? That would have been Greenland.
Yeah.
So I think the maximum expectations would have been a Champions League push and to see if we can go as far as we can in the cups, possibly win one. And we're still on track for all of those three, right?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
I mean, maybe even B+ is maybe a little bit unfair. I think we're pretty much. I think maybe if we were sat in third or fourth, maybe a little bit healthier, we could move into the A-. There's a few people suggesting injuries, but we've got to rate it. We've got to rate it from today, from the show that we're doing right now, guys. So yeah, if it all falls off the wagon in February, that's fine. Well, it's not fine, but as of today, we're still on track for everything. So if we were going to rate it sort of pre-December, it might be a little bit lower than this.
Of course it would.
When we were in a horrible run. Well, I think we got to about 14th in the league. At one point was as low as we got, which is I think that's roundabout where Man United are at the moment. So we don't want to be back down there. Anyway, this is going to be more based on players. So we've had a little discussion on that. We're going to go into the graphic for the players. So this is for everybody's eyes now. Here we are. So tier list. We're doing a tier list. I've tried to sort one out for a long time and I've just never had the chance to get it sorted. So having to cover it has forced me to get stuff like this done. So I've tried to maybe learn the right way to tier list for the Northeast dialect.
Colloquialised,
probably should have
the word, isn't it?
Exactly, colloquialized. So instead of doing the S tier, A tier, B tier, I've tried to go a little bit more Geordie. So you'll have to excuse me with my accent. So we've gone for absolutely class as the top tier. We've got mint as nearly perfect. We've got. Do you want to do the rest, Billy? You can have a crack at the accent. You're better.
Alrid is middle of the road, but look at things. Nah is slightly below that. Wouldn't get in the Malcolm's team. Is obviously not very good, and NA not applicable. Obviously hasn't played much.
So those are going to be people who have bin sold.
I'm surprised I haven't got Belter in there somewhere.
Ooh, Belter. Oh, that's a good one. I bet I'm Belter would have to be one of the top two, right?
Absolutely belter.
Yeah, purely Belter. I don't know. I feel like absolutely class has got to be in there. I feel like that's quite a Geordie thing, though. And so is Mint.
It is, yeah. There's plenty of good words in Geordie land, isn't there? So you're spoiled for choice, really. It's such a fantastic local accent and language quality.
Right, well, let's get the NAs out of the way. So the NAs that I'm talking about it's going to be loanees, people who have gone out on loan. So Ashby, Murphy, Joe White. We've also got Lloyd Kelly and Miggy Armoron are still on this graphic, but are all going into not applicable because they have either left the club or they are out on loan. So I think that's an easy one to start off with. The first one, Billy, and I feel like I feel like we do have to have a conversation about it. I'm not going to stick in Ulrich, by the way. It's Jamal Lewis. I've heard he's been included in the squad.
Yes, I've heard that too. That might be because Lloyd Kelly's gone on to Pastures New and he's third choice left back now. What his loan spell in Santos was like, I heard injuries, which is nothing new for Jamal Lewis. Great. So yeah, it's he's a tough one, isn't he, to kind of judge, but it's not going to be very high, is it? It's
going to have to be not applicable, I think, by this point.
Of course it is.
What are the odds we think we see him play?
I don't see it. I just don't see it at all. Unless Matt Target gets himself injured again. I just don't see it.
I mean, if Target has a spell out, which hopefully he doesn't, then surely Jamal Lewis is going to end up making a few benches.
Yeah, absolutely will. Yeah, which is slightly worrying, isn't it?
Yeah, the fact that it's gone so far backwards.
I do remember. I actually think he'd rather play Dan Burn and play Botman if everything was like available to him than play Jamal Lewis.
Well, yeah. No, I'd agree with that. I think he'd rather play Burn at left back again than use Jamal Lewis. But it's weird because he was quite happy to use him excessively in the pre-seasons. And he didn't actually look terrible in pre-season. Maybe not at the level we need him to be, but he doesn't look like a bad player. I'm surprised it's not been able to work for him elsewhere because he doesn't look terrible. But anyway, we'll move on from Jamal Lewis. We've got a lot more players. We've got a lot more important players to talk about. Jamal Lascelles is the final on this list that I think is going to have to go into NA because he's just not played.
Absolutely. It's a shame. Whether he gets in the contract because he's had a year out, it would be at the end of his contract at the end of the season, isn't he? It's a shame for him that injuries took longer than anticipated to get better and well again. I don't think we're going to see him all season.
Chris thinks he'd rather play Jason Tindall than Jamal Lewis. Yeah, I think you're possibly right there. Well, it depends if it's pre-season or not.
Well, that's shot window, I think, where he played in pre-season.
Yeah, it could have been shot window. Dregs don't go away overnight. We've still got Jamal Lewis on the books, remember. Yeah, of course, here is Jamal Lewis. Isaac Hayden's still on the books. There's a lot of players like that. It's taken years to get rid of these. Peter Griffin, been watching Ashby live a lot for QPR, and he's terrible even at championship level, being dropped from their starting 11. That is rather concerning, Billy.
Yeah, but he didn't cost much, did he? He just hasn't progressed from his early potential. He looked quite good on the pre-season tour in America. He had a few little issues of committing himself too early and things like that. But you'd think that'd get coached out of him, and as he gets older, he improve. Doesn't seem to have. No, it doesn't seem to have at all. And being loaned out hasn't helped him really at all. Really, I don't know if it's down to he wants to be at the club and playing first team football in the Premier League, but he's not going the right way about it, is he?
I mean, there's a few in this list that I've got question marks over. I mean, Joe White's 22 years old now, so he's very much. I think he's already past the point of sink or swim. So I'm a bit confused as to what we're doing with Joe White. Maybe they're just hoping he's going to be good enough to be on the periphery in case we sell a Sean. We've got a Joe White to come in as a, I don't know, homegrown trained at club. I'm not sure. Harrison Ashby was, I think you're right. I think it was it was a low fee, and we'll see if it works. Alex Murphy, I think, is promising. So we'll see what happens to him. Goalkeepers. So we've got 5 to go through. We'll try and not take too much time. Gillespie, Billy.
Again, he's not applicable, really, is he? But if he was, he'd definitely go and wouldn't get in the Malcolm's team.
Do we think he'd get in the Mackems team?
Absolutely not. He wouldn't get in.
I don't think he's.
He wouldn't get in a blind mother stances team.
I mean, the Mackems are trying to get out of the division, aren't they? They're trying to get out of the championship, whether it's playoffs or a bit better than that.
I can't stand the Malcolms, but I know for certain that Anthony Patterson is 10 times the goalkeeper that Mark Gillespie is.
I mean, I feel like we should rate him because with Lascelles and Jamal Lewis, they've not been used because they've either been injured or not at the club. And same with the others. I mean, there's an argument to be made we should be rating Lloyd Kelly and Miggy because they had appearances before they left, but they're gone now. But I feel like we should rate Gillespie because
bottom one then, because he definitely wouldn't get in their team. He wouldn't get in any team
because he's available, right? He's just not being used because he's not good enough.
However, if it was party planning, then he'd be in the purely Bartlett section. But
if it was party planning, he'd be in the absolutely class, wouldn't he, at the top? Now, I'm going to put him in wouldn't get in the Mackems team because he's available, but he's not injured. He's not out on loan. He's a fully available squad player being paid. You know, he's got to be rated. Is anybody, anybody in the chat, feel free to counter argue that, but
I mean, who could forget performance against the Australian All-Stars in Japan? Was it in Japan in Australia? Sorry. God, blimey, he was awful. He was very, very bad. They let
Even
9 in, and only 8 were his fault.
Well, I think the last time we saw him was in that little Saudi friendly where we won a cup.
We've seen him since then. He played in that Australian All-Stars game, didn't he?
Yeah, well, that's 2 though. The last 2 performances with the Australian All-Stars, and then we did like a cup final one-off friendly game against the Saudi team, and we beat them 5-1 and lifted a trophy, and he was in that.
He did come on as a sub in the game before in Australia and against Spurs, didn't he? And did save a penalty, if I remember rightly.
Did he? Was that the one where Dan Bird ran on the pitch and jumped?
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I completely omitted that from my memory. We've got a super chat. Fubar, it's not a super chat, it's actually a membership. Thank you very much for 18 months of membership. Stefan Borson has just retweeted a Spanish news channel saying Barca are going to sign Isak for 75 million euros.
I don't think so.
No. I think that even double that in euros is not enough.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I have seen a few of them. I've refrained from going off track too much on shows, but yeah, we've seen he has been linked with Barcelona and some other clubs as well. Yeah, definitely not. Right, let's move on. John Ruddy. I think he's better. He's getting the Mackems team. Surely he played for Birmingham City last year and was pretty good for them in the Championship, even though they went down.
I mean, I'm not sure. I think Patterson's a better goalkeeper than John Ruddy, to be fair. But for us, he models a nice dressing gown.
Should we just go in now, as in he's not really good enough, but
he's certainly better than Gillespie, so yes, I agree with that.
He's better than Gillespie. He's obviously helping with training standards and modelling dressing gowns.
Yeah.
Vlachodimos is an interesting one. Odysseus Vlachodimos, our Greek goalkeeper.
When we've seen him, he's not looked too bad, but he's had kind of scant opportunities to kind of impress, hasn't he? But when he has played, he looks pretty good.
I mean, he's looked okay for Greece, but we can't rate him on that. We've got to rate him on, I guess, our performances, right? Which has not really been any.
Did he play a half against? Was it Wimbledon or something like that?
I think he did. Yeah, I think he did play some minutes, and then obviously played in pre-season as well.
He looks all right in a sweeper keeper role as well.
I don't think he can be in there. I mean, he's played Champions League football not that long ago in Portugal, so maybe just put him in the NAR for now because he's not fancied.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, apparently Dubravka got injured and he came on. Yeah, maybe. Right, now we've got the big guns. Nick Pope, Billy. This is where it starts to get tough.
Well, when it start the season, you'd have had him in the top tier, but I mean, he's kind of, for me, in the Al Reed stage now because he's not performed this season anywhere near to his best. He looks devoid of any confidence. Whether that's down to the injury or not, I'm not sure. just doesn't look the Nick Pope of old. So it goes in Al-Reet for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've stuck him in there just as a placeholder. Yeah, I think we like Nick Pope and we enjoyed the shot stopping and how commanding he is. But I think recently, watching how good Dubravka's distribution has been has just highlighted how bad Nick Pope's is, and the playing out from the back and the being pressured. I don't think he can go any higher than Ulrich, to be fair. I think he's let a few in that maybe he could have done a bit better with as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're
sad.
going with
It's sad, but he's definitely regressed this season. No doubt about it.
Well, somebody that's not regressed, maybe had a bit of a revival. You can teach old Slovakian dogs new tricks, it seems. Martin Dubravka, Billy.
Well, he's been fantastic, hasn't he? I mean, we weren't looking forward to his stint in the team, given what we saw last season. But he's improved twofold for me. He's been absolutely fantastic. Hardly conceded the goal for that 9-game run that we had. And every goal we have conceded, he's not been able to do anything about. And he's made some outstanding saves, some outstanding distribution, and even, though I say, a little bit of sweeper keeping at times when he's had to. I think I'll put him in the second category. I don't think he's been absolutely class, but I think I'd put him in the mid category. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think he's been better than Pope, but not maybe worthy of going right at the top of the list. Yeah, we've definitely got a lot of comments on. Jeff would put Pope in now. Pope or read. Nick Pope isn't going to improve at 34 years old. Well, I mean, Nathan, have you seen the other guy who's 36 years old who improved? I mean, Dubravka's just done it, so. But I guess it was different qualities that he's improved. Great stops in the FA Cup. Yeah, but we're going over the whole season so far, and I think Dubravka's definitely outperformed Nick Pope. I think that's fair to say. Pope earned us a few points early season. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think he was pretty good early season, but again, it's just a stark contrast, Billy, in the kicking, isn't it? And the passing out. It's just so different.
I mean, when we saw the one against Birmingham, I was open mouthed. I couldn't believe it, and as we kind of intimated on Monday, he probably miskicked it, and it was an outstanding long range pass from Pope. But I mean, that's a one-off, isn't it? It really is.
Miggs would put Pope in mint as well. But we're basing it on the season so far. Has he been mint so far? I mean, let's not forget, our really good run of form came without Pope in the team at all.
Yeah.
Tricky one. I think we'll leave it there. I
think purely because I can't think of a goal that you can actually blame Dubravka for, except for maybe the one where we didn't get big at the near post. Whereas Pope, I can think of 4 or 5 that I thought he could have done better with.
All right, we'll move away from the goalkeepers then. We start with defenders. I've ordered this all nicely, so we'll start with Big Dan Burn.
Well, for me, top tier for me. He's been absolutely class this season. Absolutely class. He has shown signs of dropping off a little bit, but he has been injured and he's probably tired. But for the season as a whole, absolutely class. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I think there's been probably 10 performances so far out of everything this season that I maybe didn't think he was capable of even doing. He surprised me a little bit by raising his game. Similar to what Sean did last year. Sean raised his game for 6 to 8 weeks to a level I didn't think Sean could do. Dan Burn has done the same, but sustained it. Especially when Botman was injured. Normally that's the kind of time when players kind of switch off a bit. And he did have Lloyd Kelly, I guess, breathing down his neck to a level. The fact that we brought in Lloyd Kelly and he couldn't get a look in, Dan Burn definitely improved sort of his positioning. He made it so his pace wasn't as much of a problem for us.
I agree.
His clearances, his defensive. I mean, let's not forget, guys, we've got the best data for defensive corners in the league. And a lot of that's got to go down to Dan Burn, surely. He's a big part of that, just because he's an absolute colossus in the box.
He just puts his life on the line to not concede a goal. He'll block anything. If someone had a cannonball firing out a cannon, I'm sure he'd dive in front of it. His heart and desire for the cause that Newcastle United don't concede goals is second to none for me.
Yeah, there's people a bit on the fence with this. People saying, so Mick saying he doesn't know why I'm hesitant. LG's pointing out the fact that Tonali has saved Burn on occasion. I would agree, but that's what you. If you've got a midfielder whose job is wide cover and putting out fires, then it's going to happen, isn't it? Andy H saying Burn is mint, but he's not absolutely class. I mean, we're not saying that he is or isn't. We're talking about how he's performed this season so far. And I think his performances as a whole have been at the top tier. I can't really knock him for it. The passing's been a lot better, the positioning, the pace, and the defensive work. If I'm just rating the season, I mean, I think if we're classing him as a player, yeah, I wouldn't put him in absolutely class, but I think the season he's had is definitely up there.
100%. I think you need to, some of the people aren't understanding what the categories are about. It's about the season as this season, and that's it. Not as how they are as players and how they've been for their whole careers.
Yeah, and the leadership qualities as well for me, I think is great. And I do like the fact, I know this is a little bit off the pitch, but I love all the work he does with the YouTube channel and all the outreach programs. I think it's really good to get the community and the fan base involved again. I used to be so jealous. I remember talking about this when we first had the takeover. I used to watch other clubs' YouTube channels, and I used to be so jealous of all the little quizzes they did and all the fun they had, and bridging that gap with the fans, especially with all the money they make. It's quite hard for us to do that. And he's been a big part of that, being from the region. He's brilliant.
I agree.
We will go through. We have another super chat. Ian Fleming, thank you for the £5 super chat. Would you guys give Dubs a new contract? Ooh,
interesting one, isn't it? Yeah, I think I would. I think I'll give him a year. He may want to, potentially. Yeah. I guess it depends on how we're going to summer with what we're going to do. I mean, if we don't give him a contract, I think it's pretty given that we're going to sign a goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is with goalkeepers, it's hard to assess anything because there's 5 of them that I think all 5 of them have unclear futures. All of them.
Yeah.
I don't think Vlachodimos is ever going to play, which I feel like puts a pin in his future. Ruddy isn't going to play. I don't think Gillespie's ever going to play. So that's 3 of them. You've got Pope, who is showing signs of maybe not being the future for us at goalkeeper and is only contracted until 2026. And then Dubravka's out of contract now. So, well, in June. So all of these 5, we need to maybe extend some and buy another goalkeeper, in my opinion. So who knows? Yeah, I would probably say keep Dubravka and Pope and buy a third. And I genuinely think we need to get rid of all 3 of these and just bring a youth goalkeeper through. Like, what is the point? What sort of wages do you think we're paying these 3 combined?
Ridiculous amount, but I'm not sure Pope would stay as a third choice. So I think one of Pope or Dubravka will go.
You need to fight for your place, don't you?
They do.
He wants to get back in that England team. Nick Pope, he needs to improve.
I think that ship has sailed now. Unfortunately, since that shoulder injury, I think that ship's well sailed.
Anyway, next centre half, Fabian Schär, Billy.
I think he's been really disappointing this season, both mentally and physically. To be fair, on his day, he can still perform, but to a really, really high level. But this season, I'm going to put him in the nah category. I've got to say.
Nah. Yeah, Fabian Schär started the season with a headbutt and a 3-game ban. Although he probably didn't. That was a bit harsh on him, considering Ben Brereton cheating Diaz did. But yeah, I agree. He's cost us games. He's had moments where he's completely switched off. We've let in a lot of goals as a result of him losing concentration. He's getting nutmegged. He's losing his man. His pace isn't there. It's all the reasons essentially why we were looking at Mark Gahey in the summer to bring in somebody who didn't have the deficiencies of Fabian Schär. And then there have been moments this season where his long ball game's been a bit off. He's been a bit dithery. There's a lot of people saying I'll read in there, but I don't know. I feel like if I'm just judging how far, how he's been this season until today, I think he's been poor.
Yeah, I agree.
I love Fabian Schär. I love the way he plays football. He's fantastic. But so far, I'm rating him on so far, and I agree with Billy. It's got to be a nah. He's going in the nah. Unless loads of you in the chat are going to absolutely counter that, but a lot of people are saying nah as well. So
yeah, a lot saying nah, and a lot saying I'll read. So, and then a few mentioned the last minute equaliser against Liverpool.
If you think he needs to be moved up from nah, you need to give me a good reason to consider it, and Billy as well. Put something in there. Oh, if you give us a good enough argument, we'll change it. But we need something substantial. We'll move on. We'll go to Big Sven Botman.
We haven't seen him enough because of the injury, obviously. But when we have seen him, he's been outstanding. So because we haven't seen him enough, we can't put him in the top tier, and probably not the one below. So I'm going to put him in Alreet.
Yeah, I think he's been fantastic in the games he has played. He made the one mistake when he first returned, and then he's not really played enough. I agree to go any higher. So I think he just goes in the middle, really. So that's an easy one. Emil Kraft, Billy.
Never let us down. Every time he plays, he's been outstanding. Just does a job, an outstanding professional. He never moans about not playing. Or so we think anyway. It seems like he's not the sort that goes blasting the manager's door down, demanding place in the side. He just drops in, plays his game, and plays generally really well. So I want to put him in mint.
You're putting him in mint. All right, let's scroll up. Let's put him in there. Yeah, I mean, he's not been playing much, but that is, again, based on having Kieran Trippier and Tino Livramento as the right backs, and then having other right-sided centre-halves in front of him. And he's played a fair amount. And I do agree, every time he's played, we've got highlights of him marauding through the middle of the park, helping set up goals. And then the other night with his 12 accurate long balls, just absolutely pinging zingers 60 yards across field. Yeah, I agree. He's another one, similarly to Martin Dubravka, who I didn't think would be able to improve this much. I'm shocked at how much he's improved. Like Joe Linton was different because he's considerably younger. I'm shocked that somebody that close to 30 in a footballing age was able to completely transform his game and be really competent in this squad. So yeah, I agree. I think mint. Has anybody? Oh, Tom's not happy with one. Well, let's hear what Tom's got to say. Hang on. Kraft has hardly played, but goes in mint. Botman hasn't played much, so goes in Alreet. Yeah, but I think it's because Botman made a mistake, and I don't think Botman's played as much as Emil Kraft. I think Kraft has had a few more minutes. I see what you mean.
Yeah, I kind of see it also. But having said that, I mean, Kraft has kind of played at right back. He's played at centre back, and every time he's played, he's been outstanding. It's either move Botman up. I'd rather move Botman up than move Kraft down, to be fair.
Okay, Tom, what if we do this? There you go. We'll do that. Who have we got next? We'll go for Lewis Hall.
Top tier for me. Outstanding. Best left back of the league, barring none. And he's going to get even better and better and better and better. Elite player in the making.
Is Lewis Hall good enough to be in the absolutely class category? He's had a couple of performances where he struggled against his right winger, and that was mainly because they were probably Mo Salah or some of the best right wingers on the planet. Are we allowed to factor in his age or just rate his season generally?
No, you can do. Yeah, you can do it how you like. I mean, I just don't see. I mean, you can't really mark him on potential, but I certainly have to because it's in there. We know he's going to be an outstanding left back in world football, not just in the Premier League, in world football.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the fastest player, which sometimes means he's got a lot of hard work to do against difficult right wingers he's up against. But I think the majority of the time he's pretty good defensively. He's learned a lot. His technical level this season has been exemplary. He's fantastic. He's one of the ones who can compete with Bruno at sort of passing out under pressure and knitting things together. He's got that about him. And then his link-up play with Anthony Gordon's been really good at times on the left. And we've got ourselves a really solid left-back, haven't we, I guess? Yeah, I kind of want to leave him in absolutely class. Is there anybody who wants to put him further down?
There's a few mostly saying that they're absolutely class, so yeah.
Yeah. Starter's taking this very serious. Of course I am. I take everything seriously, Liberty. You know this. There's no point in doing anything if you're not going to do it properly. Whole mint, too many defensive inadequacies for me at the moment. Is that not, Abs, just down to the quality of opposition, though?
Or not being helped by people in front of him. Sometimes been left on his own one-on-one against, or even one-on-two against Liverpool at times when it was Alexander-Arnold and Salah running at him.
Yeah. I mean, best left back in the league. I think some people are trying to argue that Robinson for Fulham is potentially up there. Yeah, I think he's definitely in the top 3 left backs performance-wise in the league this season. I think he's the top, but other fans of other clubs might argue that. And I think he's got to be England's number 1 left back now, surely.
Easily. And it's not just about defending and other things. It's that left foot. It's an elite weapon, and you know the passing ability the lad's got. Anthony Robinson certainly doesn't have that, and nor does anyone else really.
Yeah, but Anthony Robinson's got more pace than Lewis Hall.
He has. Yes, he has.
The differences. But yeah, I mean, I guess Lewis Hall can take set pieces and corners because he's that technically gifted. The fact that you're trusting a 21-year-old left back to take those set pieces as well just is a testament to how good he is. You know, it was 6 months ago he was used on set pieces. Right, we'll go for his good old mate on the other side, Tino Livramento. Where are we putting Tino?
I mean, I think you've put him exactly where I'd put him in the Alreach. Disappointingly, actually, I thought he'd be better than that because he's not been as good as he was last season. He's showing signs of recovery now in form, I have to say. But for the majority of the season, and people are still clamoring for Kieran Trippier to be back in the side. And I think that tells you a story. Because if Tino was playing perfectly week in, week out, there wouldn't be.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I was just rating him for him. But the fact that, there have been, and I've been one of those, to be fair, where I've wanted Trippier in for certain games. And I think if Tino was playing to such a level, I wouldn't be asking that. Because I've never wanted Lewis Hall to be rotated out.
No.
But then again, we don't have a left-sided Kieran Trippier. So, well, we do. He's called Lewis Hall. I think Alreach is probably fine. Yeah, I agree. I was expecting a bit more from him this season. Maybe not loads. I think maybe we're very optimistic with our young players. But I was hoping for maybe 10 or 20% more from him. Just a bit more. Maybe a little bit more optimism with his forward runs. And then maybe a little bit more concentration in his defensive work. So just 10 or 20% and he'd be absolutely flying. I mean, to be fair to both of the young fullbacks, Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall have both got England call-ups this year. So, this season. So fantastic for both of them. So I feel a little bit harsh putting him in Alreach, but I kind of think it's where he deserves to be at the moment. I think he himself.
It was much better against Birmingham, both ends of the pitch. But that could be a result of him being dropped for the game before when Trippier played. Of course it could.
Yeah, potentially. But let's not forget, for people questioning him, he's young. They're both very, very young. So,
yeah.
Right. Kieran Trippier.
Hard one to mark, isn't he? Because, I mean, the first 3 months of the season, when we saw he was injured for a lot of it, he wasn't great in the other games. But the past month or so, when he's come on, he's looked good. Against Arsenal, it was outstanding. I think we have to put him in the same position as Tino and Alreach.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. He's had games where he's come on and made mistakes. He's not looked quite as sharp. But then he's been fairly positive in the last few games. He's been much better. Obviously integral in. I think he played against Arsenal, didn't he? And that was obviously very, very important. I don't know. I think that's a tricky one because I think there's been quite a lot of meh from him.
There have been,
But
yeah.
I feel like maybe recency bias. I think we're wanting to put him in our reach just because of the Arsenal game.
Potentially.
Mm.
But I think
I feel like
if he's going to play
Go
more
on.
again, for instance, if he's going to get more game time, I think he'll improve. But for this precise moment in time, I think you're right. I think recency bias has come into it. But there's no one you could ever say nah about him, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel dirty putting him there, but I genuinely feel like all of you in the chat who were saying he's all right, he can't be in there. Name me a game apart from Arsenal where he was good. I don't think he's had any good games this season apart from that Arsenal one. I think it's been very wishy-washy. He's come on as a substitute, and he's been injured. He came back, was a little bit poor coming on as a sub as well. Apparently Everton have gone 1-0 up. Gone up the toffees.
Don't believe it.
I feel dirty saying that. I'm going to have a shower now. But I just want Liverpool to keep losing. I want Liverpool to be so demoralised by the time they get to that cup final. We want them to go on a torrid run.
The Trippier and the Shaw ones are they're kind of hard to.
I think people are very angry. Some people are very angry we've put Fabian Schär in now. But Fabian Schär has lost us so many points. Just negligence this season.
Yeah,
he got a 3-game ban and he's made a lot of mistakes. I'm happy putting him in now.
But does Trippier deserve to be above him? Because, of course, Fabian Schär has had some good games. He scored goals as well. And then you got the press against Declan Rice for the Arsenal game. Is Kieran Trippier better than that?
But that's recency bias for Fabian Schär, isn't it?
It is. It's both, yeah.
Terrible. And they've both had a good couple of the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks. It's been better. But that's only 2 or 3 weeks, guys. Like, that's not the whole season.
I think we need a middle category.
We've got to create another one in between.
Between all that and that. I don't know. I think on past history, I know we're not marking on past history, but on past all history's past, of course it is. But I think Schär and Trippier should be in the R8.
See, there's people arguing, but look. So Looney Tune has gone, Schär is a nah, and Schär has to be all right. It's so 50. It's so divided in the chat. You're all saying different things.
It's a great discussion point, I've got to say.
I agree with all of you that this is contentious, but do we err on the side of caution and go negative, or do we go positive?
I mean, we're well known for being a positive channel. Get them both in the Al-Reed.
All right. We'll move them into Al-Reed, but I think we have got to stress that they're very lucky to be in there.
Yes, I agree.
There have been some shocking performances.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we've moved them. We've moved them, guys. We've moved them. But I think we've got valid points there. So, all right, let's move on so we can get through everybody. Matt Targett.
He's a nah because he's hardly played for me.
Yeah, he's been really good when he's played though. But again, recency bias.
He was very good against Birmingham. But
it's he's good in the previous round as well. His 2 FA Cup performances.
Yes,
really good. Is it enough to put him somewhere? I mean, yeah, but we've put Gillespie somewhere, and he's not played at all. We're marking it based on availability, and Matt Targett, I guess, was injured for most of the season, and then when he became available, did play in the available fixtures.
Yeah,
and he was on the bench. I'm tempted to put in an Al-Reed, to be fair, because I wasn't expecting him to be quite as solid. That's a tough one.
Maybe. Again, you can put him in Al-Reed or nah, to be honest. I like Targett. I'm a fan of Targets, but I mean, injuries and illnesses kind of wrecked him, haven't they, the past 2 years?
It's made me less concerned. Like, if Lewis Hall had a problem for a short period of time, I wouldn't be completely. I wouldn't be terrified at Matt Targett having a little run. I don't want him to. I'd much prefer Lewis Hall to be playing. Of course, I would. But if Matt Targett had to come in for 2 games, I wouldn't cry about it. Like, I think he's solid enough.
Yes.
Those 2 performances in the FA Cup have have calmed me. Like I get it was against lesser teams, but you can only play who's in front of him, and I don't think it was terrible. So,
that's fair.
Sean Longstaff.
This
I can hear everybody typing furiously already. Oh God.
Well, had an excellent game against Spurs, didn't he? Where he did a job on Maddison. And that's kind of it, isn't it, really? Would he get in the Mackham's team? Ahead of Joby Bellingham and I don't know how plays for him. In the middle of the park? Well, I don't know. I'm going to say nah. Microsoft started.
So we're putting Sean in the category below Fabian Schär, Kieran Trippier, and Matt Targett.
I think that's fair.
Any arguments for him to be in All Reap? I don't think I can see any. Oh, poor Longy. Poor Sean.
He's been dreadful most of the season started, to be fair.
I mean, Matthew Lang thinks he's all right. I mean, we've got Sean Mackhams. I mean, iRover, that's not nice. He's got a contract and he tries his best. I think most people have said nah, to be fair. Looney Tune dreads him coming on the pitch. I mean, he's not really played much recently, has he? So he's way down the pecking order.
Yeah. And quite rightly, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I can't justify putting him any higher than that. I think that's fair. There's people saying that he wouldn't get in the Mackhams team. Come on, guys. He's good enough to play for a Premier League team.
Champions League team.
Well, you played for us in the Champions League, but are you telling me he wouldn't walk into Ipswich's midfield or a Leicester midfield? Of course he would.
Yeah.
He'd go in there and try and help stabilise it. Or he wouldn't get in like Everton's midfield.
It's certainly getting Southampton's.
In Southampton's midfield, yeah. He would slot in and be comfortably nailed on star at multiple Premier League clubs to try and solidify them in midfield. Like, if we're saying that about him, he can't be in this last category. That's surely not on. He's worse than Samori and Winks. Wow.
I'm not sure about
and
that.
And that is your opinion. Lewis Miley, Billy. Similar to Matt Targett with appearances.
I agree. Yeah, exactly the same. I thought he was really good Saturday, but we've hardly seen him, have we?
What was the previous round when he played as the six on his own? I can't remember who he played against now. He was fantastic in that game. Yeah, I think was it Bromley? He was brilliant. I think he was brilliant in that game. It was where he went a little bit slow with a recovery run, but then after that he was absolutely fantastic for the rest of the game, pulling all kinds of strings.
There's a player that's scored for Burnley, and I'm assuming he's mixed race, but his name is fantastic. Bashir Humphreys.
That's a great name.
Bashir Humphreys.
That's a great name. Yeah, Lewis Miley and Ulrich. Have we got any against that? Miley goes in mint. Wow. I mean, he's not had enough performances to maybe warrant any higher. Similar to Matt Targett, really. I don't want to. I want to rate them because I don't just want to stick everybody in NA because then it's just boring. Like, we've got to try and rate them based on what they've done so far this season. Joe Linton, Billy.
Controversial. I'm going to put him in the outreach as well. I don't think he's been at his best this season. I think he has shown it a few sparingly, but on other occasions he's been on the periphery of things. I think he's been punished for playing too often. I think he's needed a rest, and hopefully he can be better in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think in the first few games he carried us on his own. Against Southampton, like our 1-0 win against Southampton in the opening day of the season was all down to him. He carried us with his physicality, and because we were getting pulled from pillar to post, obviously after the red card. and then he got the goal. He got the important goal. So I definitely think in the opening month he was integral. So that's not recency bias. That's the opposite. But I agree. Recently, I think he's been poor. His destroying has not been quite as destroyery. A little bit too aggressive in the foul. I think he's been very fortunate he's not been red carded in one of these games in the last couple of months, to be honest. And I think he's played too much. Yeah, I think he deserved maybe a little bit more of a rest. But useful the fact he's so versatile. He sometimes goes sort of left wing, left mid. Yeah, I don't think we can go as high as Mint, can we? I think Ulrich's probably a fair one. I don't see too many people complaining the opposite. Yeah, a couple of people said Mint, but I don't know. Is he been Mint? I mean, how many?
Not consistently. No, absolutely not.
What's he got in terms of like goals and assists? I don't think I even checked this. He's got 4 goals and 1 assist. So 5 goal contributions, breaking up play. Yeah, I mean, I think Mint probably. Not Mint, Ulrich even.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That.
Sandro.
He has potential to be higher. He has the potential, obviously, to be higher.
Oh yeah, if he comes back and puts in 4 or 5 really good performances on the spin, then instantly he's moved up a tier. Sandro Tonali.
Well, it is the easiest one of the lot, isn't it? Straight to the top of the table onto absolutely class. He's been fantastic in virtually every game he's played. Yeah, a real jumping quality from when he's coming aside. I'm surprised he didn't get in before he did, actually. But since he's coming aside, we've had a fantastic run, and he's been a lot to do with that. He's been outstanding, absolutely class, no doubt.
Ooh, we're putting him in absolutely class. I mean, that's the 3rd player to be in the top bracket. Yeah, but he came back. He was eligible at the Spurs game, but I think it took 3 odd games even after he was available.
It might have been longer than that. It might have been longer than that, Stato.
Well, he played. He then went and played for Italy. I think he played for us in the cup.
Yeah,
I think it was against
right.
Forest, wasn't it? He played
Forest.
against Forest, did really, really well.
And then was dropped.
Well, and then went and played 2 games for Italy.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it took him a tiny bit of time to get his rhythm going, and I think he was still very good then. And then once he got his rhythm going, he's been unplayable. Absolutely unplayable, especially when you've got to consider his age and the fact he was out for so long. I think he's been fantastic. He doesn't always do the flashy stuff. He does a lot of the dirty work, but then when he needs to turn on flashy stuff, he does it. Some of the runs, Billy, when he wins the ball back in like the 95th minute and then bombs down one of the wings.
Yeah,
he does it nearly every game.
Yeah.
Some of the passes as well, and I think we've seen a new side to him this season with some of the ball striking.
Yes,
he's maybe not scored as many as he's deserved, but he can hit them from 25, 30 yards. He can absolutely hit them. Yeah, I definitely think he could be on more goals. Yeah, is anybody thinking he can't be absolutely class? I mean, there's a couple of people that want to see his stats. I mean, the stats don't flatter him as much, to be fair. What's he on? He's on 1 goal and 1 assist, but obviously he's got goals and assists in the cups, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, absolutely class. It's got to be. I can't see any arguments against that. We've now got Mr. Captain, not club captain, but acting captain, Bruno Guimarães. Where is he going?
I want to put him in the top tier, but I'm not sure I can.
Ooh. Controversy. You're going to upset a few people here, Billy.
I'm going to upset myself, probably. Because on his day, he's definitely absolutely class. And I'm going to say for a third of the season, he's been absolutely class. But there's been times when he hasn't been absolutely class. It's either low absolutely class or high mint. I can't make up my mind, to be honest. Sato, what do you think?
I agree that it's close. Let's not forget there are 2 goals we've conceded as a direct result of him just giving someone the ball for a goal. He's done that twice this season. It started all the way back in the Fulham game near the start of the season. He's done it. He's done it a couple of times. He's obviously we do give him a lot of responsibility, especially when he was playing deeper.
I love him. I love him so much. It hurts me to even think about not putting him in the absolute class. He's probably the best player I've seen, midfield player seen play for Newcastle. I've said it since day one. But I think at times
is there an argument, Billy, that some of the not clangers, wrong word, but some of the mistakes have come from the fact that we do ask him to do so much?
Maybe, yes. I think he definitely takes too much upon himself. Given the fact when these mistakes happen, it's not been when Tano's on the pitch. It's generally been he's had Longstaff next to him on one side and a knackered Joe Linton on the other, and he's had to do things himself in the three-man midfield, sometimes against five. So I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say that. I really do. So no, yeah, I'm now being persuaded to get it the way. I didn't forget that.
I mean, there are moments earlier on in the season, I don't know if you can remember this, where he was part of an attack, but if we lose the ball and get countered, he's often one of the people trying to clear it off the goal line, on his own goal line.
Yeah.
Not so much recently, but he was. I think now Tonali's back, it's taken a bit of pressure off him significantly. He's not asked to do as much of the physical nonsense, and he's got a partner next to him who is very technically gifted as well, which really helps. Obviously, he did get moved. He's been swapped around a bit. You know, he's gone from a very fixed 6 to now he's able to float a bit, and he can swap with Tonali and be a bit of a double. And then often, if we're strong enough and in control of the game, he can just go be a pure 8 on his own. Depends on who we're playing, really. I think I'm going to keep him in absolutely class with you.
Okay, I'm fair in either kind of category. I will say I think he has been better in previous seasons for us. However, he has got a lot more on his shoulders this season.
I think the only reason, guys, why I want to give him higher than Mint is I think some of the mistakes that have been forced from him were because we that's the instruction. It's Bruno, you've got to do this, and this, because he's the guy who can do it. And it's just probability of averages, right? We're making him do so much all the time. You know, people complain when he loses the ball sometimes in front of our box, but we're asking him to be that guy who does everything under pressure, every single game, every time he's pressed. Of course, he's going to lose it sometimes. Like it's just you're bound to do it eventually. We'll keep him in absolutely class unless somebody's got something massive to say against it.
And I think it's fair comment. A lot of people have said he is Mr. Newcastle. He is Mr. Newcastle. He epitomises our club to the nth degree. No doubt about that either.
Yeah, I mean, we complimented Dan Burn for his off the pitch stuff. I mean, the fact that Bruno is at home with his kids singing Newcastle songs when we're winning games when he's not available, he absolutely loves the club. He's completely embraced everything it is to support the black and white. So, and he wears the armband now. So, and by the way, I think that's an extra positive point for Kieran Trippier, because surrounding everything that may or may not have happened to him personally, and obviously Bruno getting the armband, I think Kieran Trippier has been absolute class act with that. He's a model professional. I think he's been fantastic for the club, despite it, but maybe being a tricky time period for him. That is neither not confirmed nor denied. We don't know what's happened, but yeah. Joe Willock, Billy. Joseph Willockinho.
Another one that's been hampered by injuries and inconsistency, let's say. I'll reach for me.
Another one where recency bias might sway some people. He's been better. I say better recently, better in maybe just the last game. Struggled in his sub appearances. Obviously, the horrible abuse, which wasn't deserved. Well, it's never deserved. I think this is another one of those that's going to be teetering between the Ulreet or the Nah.
Yeah, I agree.
Are we maybe saying Ulreet just because he did well against Birmingham City? If we maybe ignore Birmingham City, would he be in the Nah?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Is that not recency bias, though? We're going to bump him up one category because of one game.
We'd be out the cup if we had it, didn't it?
I feel like now, you know.
Okay.
I think he's been really poor this season, and I feel like it's really harsh on everyone else that we've rated to bump him up just because of one match.
Yes, it is fair. Because without that game, he would be definitely in the no doubt about it.
I mean, I think if he does that, well, not that, because we're not asking him to score a double every game, but if he puts in better performances for another couple, then yeah, we could maybe move him up to Al Reed. But I think at the moment, yeah, he played. I guess he played early season for a bit. Do you remember we were we had a 4-4-2 shape with him next to Isak for a few games on the spin.
Yeah,
he wasn't terrible then, but then he's gone for a period of just being poor whenever he's been called upon. Any objections to Na in the chat? I think most of you are saying Na as well. I'll read to Na. He's kind of one of those middle ground ones, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, he is. He's borderline. I'm happy with both.
I mean, he did well in the I mean, somebody just said he did well against Forest. Didn't he score the goal against Forest that got us through the Carabao Cup? I think he did. He obviously got us to pens, didn't it?
Yeah. I'm hoping that he improves. Obviously, the second half of the season is going to be key for him, and I think the performance against Birmingham, if he can keep himself fit, it's good news for Newcastle United.
I think a couple more games of positivity and it instantly bumps him up to there. But I think based on where we're at so far, it's got to be in there now.
Yeah.
Anthony Gordon.
He's another borderline one for me.
What, borderline mint or class?
Yeah.
Should we have a look at how many's he scored? Oh, no, not Craig Gordon. That's not the right player.
He's not scored a goal ever, that Malcolm Twat.
Anthony Gordon. There we go. 6 goals, 5 assists.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Just Premier League form. Yeah, that doesn't include his cup stuff. That's 6 goals, 5 assists in just the Premier League as a left winger.
I mean, it's really said we can't have 5+ class. Why can't we? We're sitting in 6th in the table. We're in the final of the Carabao Cup and also the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Why can't we have more than 5+ class?
Okay, let's maybe phrase this another way. I think for you to be an absolutely class, would you get in a Champions League side at the moment? Would Bruno Tonali, Lewis Hall, or Dan Burn get in a title challenging side right now?
I mean, I'm not sure Dan Burn would, but on this season alone, you know, he deserves to be in that top
current
category.
On current form. Can't have more than 5 class, don't make up rules. I'm pretty sure that's you making that rule up right now. What on earth? And I think you might actually be defending us. Okay, never mind. I just read one comment. I got so confused. Who are we doing? Anthony Gordon, right? I'm
torn again.
Horrible with this one. Look, 11 goal contributions,
huge,
and he's got goals in the cups as well. He scored against Arsenal in the cup, so it's more than 11 in all competitions, which is enormous. He's good enough to be an England regular. He's carrying us towards a European place and a cup final or a cup. Was there a period of time after the Euros where he was a bit? I think there was, and I think he would possibly agree with that.
Yes.
He was put on the right. It wasn't fantastic on the right. He had maybe 2 good games on the right, and the rest were a bit average or poor. And then
I think the new contract was huge for him. I think since he got the new contract, he's definitely been absolutely class. I think he goes in absolutely class.
I think there's an argument to be made. Attitude and early season, getting into the rhythm puts him in mint. But I think the stats put him in class.
Yeah.
The stats, but 11 goal contributions and just in the league, and then more when you factor in the cups, I think drags it up to absolutely class.
If your Benitian says 15 goal contributions in all competitions, that's outstanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
got to be up there.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
That's got to be up there. I mean, if you're talking about Liverpool and Man Cities of this world,
Yeah.
if they've got wingers getting 15 goal contributions, that's that's what you want. That's title challenging winger level. That's right up there. We're only in sort of the start of Feb. If he keeps carrying on, he might reach sort of 25 goal contributions, maybe more if he keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harvey Barnes.
I'd have him in the nah category personally. But I can see a point for Al Reed because he has scored some crucial goals as well.
Yeah, the West Ham stuff. I mean, he's won us points on his own, hasn't he? There were definitely 2 or 3 games where he contributed to us getting 3 points or walking away with something.
Mm.
But there were a lot of nars. It's another one.
Yeah.
I think he's sort of in between these two, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know why we signed him. I really don't know why we signed him. It was a daft signing for me.
Yeah, I mean, Looney Tunes just said, "No, it's a bit too harsh." He scored a few good bang. Yeah. I mean, he's contributed enough to have won us good points and important points. But then he's had some poor performances as well. It's a bit of a mixed bag. Yeah,
he goes missing as well, doesn't he? If we're not dominating the game, then he goes missing. If we're dominating the game, he's fine. He's great to have on his side. He's a luxury player. But if we're on the back foot, he just goes missing. And I think we've seen that when he comes on the sub, we're losing. You just don't get anything off him.
To be fair, yeah, Lewis just said that the West Ham game I'm thinking about was last season. It wasn't even this season.
Yeah, Spurs he scored, didn't he? He scored against Spurs. He scored against, I think he scored 2 or 3 on the trot, didn't he? Wolves.
I don't know, man. That's a real hard one. I mean, we need to crack on, but we'll keep in all read. But again, that's another. Is he been? I mean, he's been better than Joe Willock, I think, hasn't he? I think
yes.
That's it. Has he been better than Trippier and Fabian Schär? I mean, I think they've equally stuttery seasons, them three, haven't they? Schär and Barnes are like very similar, but just one's defensive, one's an attacker.
Yeah. Fulham away, Forest away. Yeah, I'll reach.
Right, well, a few people are going to hate us for this one, but Jacob Murphy.
I mean, they might not hate me. I'd put him in the absolutely class category.
He cannot be any lower than absolutely class.
100%.
I mean, he's on about 10 goal contributions in the league, and he scored a bunch in the cups as well. He's not far behind Anthony Gordon at all. He's hot on the heels of Anthony Gordon in terms of goal output and assists.
Despite playing a lot less as well. I mean, remember, he wasn't in the side for a while.
Yeah, he wasn't that guy at all at the start of the season. He wasn't the right winger. We tried so many different things, and then Eddie was like, "Yeah, go on, Jacob. We'll have another go with you." And then he's just absolutely flown. I'm trying. Anybody in the chat, I dare you to write that he's not absolutely class. Do it. Ooh, Looney Tunes said Murphy mint. Matt Lang said he's mint. Come on. We're doing this season. We're not talking about him. We're talking about the season so far from him. Surely it's been absolutely class. He's won us so many points, single-handedly kept us in games.
There's a few saying mint, but
but guys, remember, we're not talking about him. We're talking about his season.
Yeah.
I don't think he can sustain this either. I think it's a bit more than a purple patch, but Paul wants to put him in now. Is that Paul sneaking in the background, or is that you, Billy?
No, that's Paul.
That's Paul.
Yeah.
See, I wanted Paul's, but I didn't want to put it too much on him asking for all of these ratings because it's loads to go through. Surely Murphy's got to be in class. He's got to be.
100%.
I'm waiting for somebody in the chat to challenge that. No, he's in there. Easy peasy. William Osula.
I'll read to me.
It's not Paul. Al Reed.
Yeah, I think he's got lots and lots of potential. He really has. But he's hardly been used, has he? But when he has been used, he's looked really good.
don't know. I'm tempted, to go a little bit higher than Ulrich because, if we're saying that Matt Targett came in and gave some really solid performances when he was available and he's in the Ulrich, I think Will Osula's come in the few performances he's been involved in and been way better than what Matt Targett's given us. He scored a fantastic goal and got 2 assists last game. I think he's in mint. But what he's given, based on the minutes he's given us this season, those minutes have been mint for me. I think he's been outstanding.
I mean, he managed to miss from a foot out with no goalkeeper in and assist Wilson in the same move with his arse.
No, we're not talking about that one. No, you are right. You are right. I just feel like he's been far more impactful in the minutes but I guess Joe Linton in there is a bit of a. But Joe Linton's had a lot more dodgy games.
Where's Miley? What's he in?
Miley's in Ulrich.
So should Osula be in Ulrich then?
Yeah, we'll go back to Ulrich. Okay. I feel like this isn't right at all. The fact that we've got Fabian Schär next to Will Osula, Schär's had such a roller coaster of a season, and Will Osula has been as good as he's been really, really good every time he's played, essentially. Paul has spoken. He stays in Ulrich. Callum Wilson.
I mean, that has to be not applicable, does it? I mean, he's literally hardly played. He's played how long? 50 minutes in one game and 5 in another?
Like a couple of appearances before he got re-injured? Or are we just going to put him in NA for now? I think he did, didn't he? I think he had a couple of appearances.
He may have come on for 3 minutes and then hurt himself again. I don't think he's played a full 90 minutes all season.
He's got 61 minutes in the Prem plus his top. Yeah, I mean, I think that's even less than like Target and stuff. All right, we'll put him in NA. He's escaped a rating. He's very lucky there because it very well could be something else. And finally, Alexander Isak. The Swedish assassin.
I think this is an easy one also, isn't it? It's absolute class. He's the best striker in the world at the precise moment in time.
Is he the best striker in the world?
I think so.
It's hard to argue, isn't it? It's hard to argue. If you do start throwing out other names, if you throw out Lewandowski, well, Isak's got a lot more to offer in the channels and dribbling and speed. Doesn't matter who you bring up, really. Isak's got some skill that they haven't. Isak wouldn't get in the Mackham's team. I think he definitely would.
I haven't seen him shin a volley in, though, like Mbappe did last night. Did you see that?
Do you know how I know that's Paul? Because there's far too many emojis and your spelling's atrocious. Yeah, well, there you go, guys. There's our list. So our absolutely class has got Dan Burn, Lewis Hall, Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, Anthony Gordon, Jacob Murphy, and Alexander Isak. So we actually have 7 absolutely class players. Are we being a bit generous there, Bins, as we're supporters of the club? Maybe a tiny bit. Min, we've got Martin Dubravka, Sven Botman, and Emil Kraft. In the Ulrich section, we've got Nick Pope, Tino Livramento, Kieran Trippier, Matt Targett, Lewis Miley, Joe Linton, Harvey Barnes, Fabian Schär, and Will Osula. In the now, we've got John Ruddy, Odysseus Vlachodimos, Sean Longstaff, and Joe Willock. The wouldn't get in the Mackham's team. The only player in this category is Mr. Gillespie, the party planner himself. And then the not applicable are a bunch of lads who are either not here or who haven't played. You got Alex Murphy, Harrison Ashby, Joe White, Lloyd Kelly, who's gone, Miggy Almiron, who's gone, Jamal Lewis, who is now in the squad, guys. Jamal Lascelles, hopefully he comes back soon, and Callum Wilson, who, if we did the show a few weeks down the line, might get in this one of these categories. So, which category do the hosts go into? Well, I don't know. That's up to you guys. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you have clicked the like button if you did enjoy it. Make sure if you knew that you have subscribed as well. That is really, really important for us. And you've clicked the notification bell. Please make sure you have checked out, if possible, our channel sponsor, Mamaru Records. There is a link in the description just to check out what they've got in terms of music and merchandise. There is a website and there is also a shop based in Whitley Bay. Tomorrow we have, Billy, what do we have tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday. I believe we have.
Preview. Yeah, Man City preview.
Man City preview. They will also be. God, Paul's got his energy back, guys. I'm getting gnomed and dwarfed in the chat by him. It'll be an interesting preview, of course, after that Real Madrid loss, the last minute winner. Of course, they did just lose to Real Madrid 3-2 in the Champions League, so it could be an interesting one for us at the weekend. But so make sure you come back tomorrow for the preview. But thank you very much for joining, all the viewers. Thank you for all the mods as well. Do we have any super chats that we've missed? Oh, we do have a couple. Good thing I've caught those. Michael McIntyre, thank you for your £2 super chat. Billy, are you crazy? Toon.
I think that was when I was considering putting Bruno in the mint category.
That would make sense. Stoic Protector, thank you very much for your 50
Danish kroner.
Thank you. Evening, chaps. Gordon deserves high praise. Yes. Contribution for your work on this show. Much appreciated. Yeah, I agree. Gordon, I think with the 15 goal contributions in all competitions, probably does deserve to be there. But thank you again. As the Rougher Benishian does say, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. It is free to do so. That is very, very important. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, we will see you tomorrow for the preview.
Thanks, Sato, for an excellent, that graph and all that work you're doing has contributed to a fantastic show. So thanks to Sato for that. And away that's analysis.
Come back and check out some green.